Springtime is more than a season. It's a sensation, a celebration of life renewed. And it's not always measured by a calendar. In Georgia and in golf, it's marked here in Augusta when the world's greatest golfers return to the game's most storied setting. When the Masters Tournament reawakens the spirit of spring and the pulse of the sport.
There it is! Adam Scott!
A champion is crowned every week in golf, but legends are created at the Masters.
Yes, sir!
Glory, eternal and immortal, within the embrace of the champion's green jacket, across an emerald arena and Augusta National Golf Club, fraught with challenge and temptation. Today's best will chase greats and greatness, a dream beyond victory, the history of a Masters title. And we'll take you there, around the green, live from Augusta.
Good evening and welcome to Around the Green, live from Augusta. I'm Tim Guidera alongside Ken Griner, and we are just outside the Augusta National Golf Club, where we are just a few hours away from the 82nd Masters Tournament. And Ken, it is being called the most anticipated Masters of our lifetime, with so many of the world's top players arriving in Augusta in top form this week.
So many times you build something up big, but I don't think we're going to be disappointed. They always say the Masters never disappoints. We've got so many great storylines going into this one, and so many people playing great golf right now.
You know, there always seems to be a clear-cut favorite coming in this week. Can't say that. You can't say that this year because so many players are so well. It is really shaping up to be a classic Masters. People referencing 1975 and 1986, some of the great ones. Of course, Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson resurgent. Phil already has won this year. Tiger back healthy after his back fusion surgery. Jordan Spieth is all of a sudden back in the mix after a strong performance last week in Houston. Bubba Watson has rediscovered form with 2 victories this season. Rory McIlroy is seeking that career Grand Slam. He also rediscovered his putter.
And that's what it's going to take for Roy to win here, of course.
Absolutely.
So, and not blow up on the back nine.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done that before.
You know, and then there's, of course, Dustin Johnson and Justin Thomas, the world's #1 and #2 players, certainly on any list of favorites, including the very long one that Masters patrons have been making this week.
That's a lot of our discussion amongst the club pros and teaching pros, how the volume, the level of competition, deep. And now with Tiger Woods' resurgence, the younger generation will get to feel that presence, so to speak. So we're curious how that's going to transcend.
There's been so many players that are playing well going into this Masters, so it'd be one of the best ones ever. I think one of the best ones. I mean, even last year was great with Rose and Sergio battling, so tough to top that. But if you say the players that have played, it'll be great.
Of course, it is one thing to have all these names in the mix on Thursday morning. Tomorrow, it'd be something else to have them there Sunday evening as well.
That's true. And usually on Thursday and Friday, there's always that player we didn't even think about. Right. You think back in years past, a guy like John Houston. The Houston has landed. Of course, by Sunday, he's nowhere to be found. And that happens a lot.
Line, the slums of Chicago are filled with first-round leaders from the Masters.
Absolutely. Well, there are a lot of guys that we do have that are odds-on favorites, and of course, you know, you said it best. You know, when Tiger's back in it and playing well, he's going to be the #1 golfer, right?
Yeah, and you know, it was shocking that a couple weeks ago, after he had a couple good performances, he shot right to the top of the list. He was over 200 to 1 a couple of months ago. He is 10 to 1 coming into the Masters, along with Jordan Spieth.
Jordan Spieth, of course. Justin Thomas is another guy way up on the list, and Dustin Johnson. This list is, you know, like we said, there's so many guys that can win this week, and of course, Rory is right there as well.
Yeah, but the one thing is, the favorite never admits to being the favorite.
Of course.
I don't think there's one clear-cut favorite. I think there's so many guys playing well at the same time. And I think that's what is making this year's Masters so exciting, is that there's so many guys. There's not just one person that has run away with it early in the year. There are guys from their early 20s to Phil at 47 that have all played well.
Of course, we should point out all of those odds are for entertainment purposes only.
Thank you for that clarification. That's what's known as the on-TV asterisk, okay?
Exactly. Well, one Vegas book saying 11% of the odds of the bets that they have booked so far are on Tiger Woods. Well, a lot of people think that he is the one to bet on. Well, Tiger's back is fine, and Tiger's back in Augusta. When we come back on Around the Green, we will take a look at the excitement the 4-time Masters champion is creating this week. Welcome back to Around the Green. Tiger Woods playing his first Masters since 2015. It seems hard to believe he has not won here in 13 years, but fans are very excited about his chances coming into this week.
Yes, they are. And so many fans, so many of these patrons here, they love to see that Tiger's back, but a lot of them that we talk to on the grounds out there would also say, it's nice to have him in contention, but it's good for golf if one of these young guns goes out there and win as well.
Absolutely, but I think we've seen by the ratings already this season when Tiger's in contention, it changes things. And he has been in contention 3 times already this season. And, you know, it's 10 months after back surgery.
After seeing Tiger smile on the course today, kind of hard to go against him.
Again, it's got to be Tiger at this point, playing so well, coming in, knows the course. If he's going to win another major, it's going to be the Masters.
I think there's a good chance. I mean, he's certainly in great form. It's fun to watch him play, and clearly everyone was following him around today.
It's not just him playing well, he brings everybody else up around him. So come Sunday, all I could ask for is him, Jordan Spieth, Dustin Johnson to be relevant and playing well down the stretch, and everybody will watch.
Well, it would be an amazing Masters if Tiger and those young players come down the stretch on Sunday. He says he's surprising himself at his swing speeds. He is regularly at 125 miles an hour, which is world class. It's amazing to see.
And it's amazing that he has that much confidence in what they did surgically, where he will just let it rip like that.
10 months after he had his back fused, and he's swinging the club 125 miles an hour. He's calling himself a medical miracle, and I think he's right.
I think he is. Okay, we have talked to the fans about Tiger. Well, let's go out and let's talk to some of the other players about Tiger. And for that, we turn to our Jake Wallace. Jake?
Well, guys, you know, there used to be the whole intimidation factor with Tiger. Now, that doesn't really exist anymore with this generation of players. But one thing still rings true. Tiger is still the center of attention at Augusta. It's the topic on everyone's mind at Augusta.
Tiger Woods.
Tiger Mania is running wild again at Augusta National, and everyone is talking about the 4-time champ's return to the Masters.
Everyone wants to see him win and play the way he did before. You know, everyone's kind of, you know, chomping at the bit for him to kind of get here and see how he's moving and everything.
Tiger Woods will play his first Masters since 2015 and is the odds-on favorite to take home another green jacket. But the field is much different now than it was during his run of 4 championships in 9 years. Young stars like Jordan Spieth, Justin Thomas, and Jon Rahm now create intriguing matchups that have even those players curious to see the old Tiger down the stretch.
I feel like many of us practiced having, you know, oh, this putt to beat Tiger, this putt to win this tournament. All I've done is watch it and enjoyed it. You know, maybe I wouldn't enjoy it so much if I was on the other end, but I guess we'll never know, or maybe I will.
The Tiger buzz has been just part of the most anticipated Masters in years, and the 42-year-old Woods is drawing most of the attention. That's something the other players in this field haven't minded.
The guys will still get some attention. A lot of guys will enjoy not getting maybe as much, sliding under the radar, like you said, and getting to just take care of business.
And as much as many of the players hope to see Tiger play well in his Augusta return, they still plan to win the green jacket for their own.
If you can't come into an event thinking that, no, Tiger's going to win, you know, I'm going to play for second place. You've got to believe in yourself and understand that you put the, you know, the calculated preparation into it and try and execute the game plan.
You can bet Tiger will have another big crowd following him when he tees off on Thursday morning. He's in Group 12, 10:42 a.m. with Mark Leishman and Tommy Fleetwood. Guys.
All right, thanks, Jake. You know, I still think one of the most amazing things we've heard all week long, and that is a Tiger Woods saying, Phil and I know we're at the end of our careers, and you and I said, I think he's cutting himself a little short here. Now, all of a sudden, we think Tiger's got a lot of golf left in him.
Yeah, they both have some left in the tank, and right, if Tiger can stay healthy, he's playing well enough that he may be doing this for a long time.
Indeed.
Alrighty. Well, the players, of course, will have everybody excited on Thursday, but the first couple days of the Masters, the course is what everybody is talking about. When we come back, we're going to take a look at some of the beautiful scenery at Augusta National. Well, the color has returned to Augusta National this year. A warm winter last year, if you remember, Ken, led to an early bloom and a very green Masters. But this week, the azaleas, the dogwoods, and everything else on this former nursery are just popping and making their appearance at just the right time. And for the first 3 days of the Masters, that's really what everybody is out here looking at.
Absolutely. We've said so many times that you do not have to be a golf fan to enjoy yourself inside here at a place that many do refer to as the Cathedral in the Pines. And it truly is living up to that, because all the conditions were right, as you said, for this to be a really beautiful week, and everything is just wonderful in it.
And so many of these patrons coming for the first time, getting their first chance to see in person a golf course that they have seen on TV their whole lives. So they're here to watch a couple of golf shots, but they're watching the golf course. They're not looking in the air at golf balls. They're looking at the ground, at the grass. They're looking into the azaleas. And they are going to corners of the golf course just to see them, because they want to see how different it is. They talk about the elevation change. They talk about the white sand in the bunkers. And, of course, how big these greens are and how much undulation is on them.
Also, every year, it never fails, you hear somebody here for the first time say, I had no idea it was this hilly. This time we ran into a couple from Yorkshire, England. He's like, look at the slopes. And the guy says, you just don't see this on the telly. So it's lived up to that. My 20 Masters, every year you hear that.
Absolutely. Well, for the first 3 days, fans have been taking in all they could at Augusta National.
Just look at this beautiful course, the manicuring, it's amazing. You know, you always hear about it and the elevation changes. You just want to see it in person. It doesn't always translate on TV.
Well, I wanted George to see Amen Corner and the beautiful vegetation and landscape and the people who come and watch this event.
I mean, there's so many people here just looking for at the course as well as the players, and it's just a sight to see.
Well, of course, people come to Augusta National to go to the golf course. Increasingly, people come here to shop.
Yes, and I know two that are very guilty of that, and they are sitting right here.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah.
Well, we want to go to Jake Wallace. They have a brand new golf shop. They're calling it a golf shop, by the way, at Augusta National.
It's a mall.
Jake, it is something to see, isn't it?
Yeah, guys, it's almost been as much a destination for patrons this week as Amen Corner, and this year the stop is even more of a necessity. As you mentioned, newly renovated, bigger than ever, but still with all the favorite merchandise staples patrons have taken home for years to come. Some go in blind, others, though, have a list, and on that list, must-have items that they'll take home from Augusta National.
First thing was the hat. Yeah. Love the hat. Couple shirts, couple polos, and a couple things for my dogs. Got a couple collars for my dogs.
You know, obviously people back to back, but the Southern hospitality kicks in. Everybody's nice to each other, so it worked out.
You know, guys, they have the favorites, the polos, the hats every year, but every year they try to spice it up, add some new items. One of those this year, a garden gnome dressed in the typical Masters caddy outfit. It's terrific, and it's flying off the shelves.
Yeah, I believe that's the Fluff Cowan garden gnome is what people are referring to.
I knew he was going there. He's been talking about that gnome all the time.
Well, that's probably the most unusual item this year. I have to confess, the oddest item that I have ever gotten here, Masters boxers.
You know, I think it's time to go to break with that.
All right, well, so that is Brian Harmon is playing in his second Masters this week. When we come back on Around the Green, we will find out why he is so much more comfortable and confident. Well, Savannah's Brian Harmon played in his first Masters 3 years ago, and he admits that he felt a lot of pressure to play well looking into that, but he is a very different player now.
Got his second win on tour when he was 30 years old in 3 months. You can tell he's a different player. He's much more mature.
Absolutely, and because he has played so well for so long lately, he is under a lot less pressure to do so at Augusta National this week. His first Masters seemed to disappear into the experience of being here. But Brian Harmon's return to Augusta National this week is more of a business trip.
For me, my goals are to get a good night's sleep, eat 3 meals a day, stay in the moment, and the rest of it seems to take care of itself usually.
The Savannah native is a different player as he prepares for his second Masters 3 years after his first. Now a two-time PGA Tour winner, ranked 23rd in the world, and in contention almost every week he plays after a breakout 2017 season. He also led last year's U.S. Open for 3 rounds before finishing second, easily his best major championship performance. And once the nation's top-ranked junior player, he says he feels no different being a major figure in the game.
Well, I used to be one of those guys. I'm comfortable in my own skin. I'm comfortable with what I'm doing. I feel like I get more comfortable in those positions than I am trying to keep my tour card or trying to, just try to barely get by, because as you start playing a little bit better, you're not worried about not playing well, I guess. And so I felt more comfortable this year than I have any other year.
But last year's Open showed him the majors are different than other events.
Yeah, you have to leave way earlier to get to the course. Traffic's way worse. The majors are what everyone tunes in to watch. It's really hard to win any week on tour, and these majors are something else. It's a busy week, and that's why, for me, as normal as I can make it, the better off I am.
And the better he will be able to take care of business.
I play against the same guys every week. It's the same guys that, it's the tour. There's only, 120 to 140 of us that are out there. It's the same guys every week, and that's what someone asked me about the Open last year. I was like, it just didn't seem like that huge of a deal, because I'm still trying to beat the same guys that I try to beat every week. And for me, that's kind of comforting.
Well, Brian says he's been able to be so comfortable because he's driving the ball so well. He's had an equipment change. He went back to Titleist golf balls, Titleist clubs that he played when he was a junior player, had 6 great years with TaylorMade, but decided to make a change. He is now 9th on tour in driving accuracy. Not a long player by tour standards, but he says if he can know that he's going to be in the fairway 70% of the time, which he is now, he can attack a golf course from there.
I have no concept of being in the fairway 70% of the time, or even believing that.
Exactly.
Of course, Brian is one of our local players of interest with Savannah Christian kid, and also he went to the University of Georgia. Let's take a look at a few of the others. As you see, Bubba Watson, of course, he's a Georgia Bulldog. Kevin Kisner, Georgia as well. Aiken native, right up the road on I-20. Russell Henley out of Macon Stratford Academy, he's a Bulldog. They had 6 Georgia Bulldogs in this in 2016, so 4 is not a record here. Matt Kuchar of Georgia Tech. Also, Larry Mize.
Of
lived
course.
in Savannah through the 3rd grade. We've hashed that out before. And of course, Wesley Bryan, South Carolina Gamecock, and also your defending champion in the RBC Heritage, which we'll have next week, in Patrick Reed out of Augusta University.
And
so those are the locals of interest.
Wesley Bryan, a local here in Augusta, he lives here now, and
yes.
He actually attended the Masters as a patron last year, and then he found out the week after last year's Masters that he was in because he won the Heritage. He had to wait 51 weeks to come up and play his first Masters, but it's got to be a thrill for him to be here now.
Absolutely, because these players, when they move to a town, all of a sudden everybody wants to be their friend, and it's just, he has found a way to find all the Taco Bells here, of course, too, if you know that story.
All right, well, about 12 hours away from the first round of the 82nd Masters. When we come back on Around the Green, we will check out our first round forecast.
Cold front moved in and gave us some very early rain, but didn't impact the par 3, but it did give us some winds, and here it is, and it's going to be pushing off the coastline. Behind it, we've got clear conditions, but it will be chilly as we head into our round 1. So here's our forecast for round 1. We'll start in the low 40s, and with a light breeze, 5 to 10, it may feel like the upper 30s. So grab a jacket, grab a sweater, but in the afternoon, warm under the sun.
All right, well, we're getting close to the first round of the Masters, but we cannot wrap up these first 3 days without talking about what was really the highlight yesterday.
It was a great day. It seemed like a Sunday without the pressure. For a look at that, let's take it over to our Jake Wallace.
Yeah, guys, it was the talk of Tuesday here at Augusta National. The practice round of all practice rounds. Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson with 7 green jackets between them, playing a back 9 practice round that had probably the largest practice round crowd we've ever seen. The Sports 2 icons teamed against Fred Couples and Thomas Pieters and thrilled the crowds. Now, word of the round hit the news cycle early Tuesday morning, and that sent thousands of patrons scrambling to the back 9 to make sure they got a glimpse.
We knew that Phil normally on Tuesdays plays like a big money game with some guys, and we were wondering who he was going to be with. When we saw it was Tiger, it was like,
Okay, no brainer. It's not just Tiger. I think it's fun to see him and Phil playing together. That's what was so attractive, not just Tiger, that it was Phil, and then with Freddie on top of it, it was icing on the cake.
Guys, hard to believe the first round is almost here. They're going to tee off the 82nd Masters on Thursday morning.
That's right, 8:15, the ceremonial starters, Gary Player and Jack Nicklaus. Wesley Bryan at 8:30, and then Savannah's Brian Harmon goes at 9:25.
He'll know his way around with Mark Romero there. 10:42 is at Tiger Woods, Mark Leishman, and Fleetwood going off at 10:42 and 53. Garcia, your defending champ.
All righty, well, thank you so much for watching Around the Green live from Augusta, everyone. Enjoy the 82nd Masters right here on WTOC, and join us for extended coverage the next 3 nights.